After I proposed to my girlfriend of 3 years, she revealed she is still legally married and filed for divorce after my proposal. She wants me to move forward like everything is fine because it was, in the past. But I don't think I can trust her anymore. I, 32M, proposed to my girlfriend, 30F, and found out she's still married. I honestly don't know how to process this. I've been with Hannah for 3 years. We've had a solid relationship, faced challenges together, even went long distance for a while. I've always believed she was the one, no hesitation. I was ready to build a life with her. Last week, I decided to propose. I planned everything out, the ring, the perfect restaurant, even rehearsed what I'd say. When the moment came, I got down on one knee, and she said yes. But something felt off in her reaction. She looked happy, but not quite. At the time, I brushed it off, thinking it was just the shock of the proposal. A few days later, she asked if we could talk. She seemed serious, and my first thought was that she might be having second thoughts about the engagement. But instead, she drops this bomb: she's still married. They've been separated for years but never finalized the divorce. And she hadn't even filed for divorce until after I proposed. So she had a husband this whole time. I was speechless. She said she didn't think it was important to mention because they've been done for years and it was just paperwork. To her, it was in the past. But how is it in the past if she's still legally tied to the guy? She said she didn't know how to bring it up and didn't want to complicate things. That explanation didn't sit right with me. She had 3 years to tell me. 3 years where I trusted her completely. She let me believe we were building a future together, but she hadn't even taken the step to end her previous marriage. And to only act after I propose? It feels like she was forced into handling it, not because it was the right thing, but because she couldn't avoid it anymore. I told her I feel betrayed. How can I trust her now? For 3 years, she's kept this from me, and only when I was ready to make her my wife did she finally do something about it. Right now, I don't know where we go from here. She wants to move forward like everything's fine, but I'm stuck wondering if this is something I can get past. Update. I took some time to think, and after a week of no contact with Hannah, we met up, and she apologized again. She explained that her marriage had been toxic, emotionally abusive, with a lot of manipulation. Filing for divorce, for her, wasn't just about paperwork, it was facing that trauma. She thought ignoring it meant she'd moved on, but my proposal pushed her to finally deal with it. I get that, to an extent. But I told her straight up, she should have been honest with me from the start. Trust isn't something you can easily rebuild. She offered to go to therapy, but I told her I needed time to decide if that's even something I want. Honestly, I'm still torn. Part of me thinks I deserve someone who's open and doesn't hide things, especially something this big. But another part of me still cares for her, and 3 years is hard to walk away from. Right now, we haven't broken up, but I haven't fully committed to staying either. I'm giving myself time to figure out if this relationship is worth saving, or if it's time to move on. I'll see if therapy could help, but I'm still deciding. Final update. First off, I want to thank everyone for your comments and advice. It's been a wild ride, and I appreciate all the different perspectives. A lot of people asked if Hannah had been in contact with her husband during our relationship. To clarify, she wasn't. They were fully separated for over 4 years, but just not legally divorced. I was under the impression they were already divorced. She's now handling everything through a lawyer to finalize the divorce. She's apologized more times than I can count, begged for forgiveness, and admitted she should have told me sooner. After giving it a lot of thought, I decided to try couples counseling. During the sessions, she opened up more. She admitted that her actions were selfish, that avoiding the divorce wasn't about protecting me but about avoiding her own uncomfortable feelings. We talked about her past marriage in more detail, which helped me understand her situation better, but honestly, the conversations kept circling back to her issues. The problem was, I didn't feel like she fully grasped the real damage here. My main issue wasn't her past marriage, it was the trust. The fact that she kept something this huge from me for so long shattered that trust, and even in counseling, I didn't feel like we were addressing that enough. After a few sessions, I realized it wasn't going to change anything for me. I told her I didn't want to continue the sessions and that I couldn't see a future with us anymore. She asked me to reconsider, saying it was just one mistake, and that she's learned from it. But I told her it wasn't something I could move past. It wasn't about just one mistake, it was about the boundary that was crossed, the trust that was broken. No matter how much I wanted to, I knew deep down I'd always have that doubt in the back of my mind. It wasn't something I ever thought she was capable of, and I couldn't shake the feeling that there might be other things she wasn't telling me. So, I ended things. I know some of you may not agree with that decision, but this was a line for me that couldn't be uncrossed. Sometimes, no matter how much you love someone, Trust is the foundation, and when that's broken, it's hard to rebuild. Now, I'm moving forward. It hurts, but I know it's the right decision for me. More info from the comments. Her family or friends knew about the marriage situation. During the week we didn't speak, I started getting texts from her family and few friends. At first, it was just checking in on me, asking if I was okay. But soon, the messages shifted. They were suggesting that I give her another chance, saying things like, she's been through a lot, telling me she had endured a lot in her previous relationship and that she didn't deserve to lose someone who loved her. Her family kept saying things like, she loves you so much, and she's had a tough time, you should understand that. They wanted me to believe that because she was happy and she was over her past, I should just accept it and move on. I even got comments like, you don't throw away 3 years over one mistake, which felt a bit manipulative. They weren't addressing the fact that the entire foundation of trust between us had been destroyed. It was as if they expected me to brush that aside because she was ready to move forward. I told them the same thing I told her. It's not about her feelings or even her past marriage. It's about trust. It's about the fact that she kept such a significant thing from me for years. I couldn't just overlook that. They weren't hearing me, though. Every conversation I had with her family felt like they were just trying to guilt me into staying with her, framing it as me abandoning her if I didn't.